Adolf Hitler is one of the most infamous dictators of all time. He was the man behind one of the most terrible eras of modern history, and the instigator behind some truly awful war crimes. Unfortunately, the world never received the necessary amount of closure, as instead of having to answer for his crimes and face the necessary punishment, Adolf Hitler, his wife Eva Braun, and a few other prominent members of the Nazi Party killed themselves. But what if he hadn't? What if he escaped? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel that loves to delve deep into a multitude of topics because we believe that curiosity didn't kill the cat, it only made it wiser. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if Hitler escaped to Argentina? Before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know that if you stick around until the end of the video, I will be answering questions from a previous one. And of course, I want to invite you guys to share your opinions on this video too. Do leave us a comment telling us what you think really happened to Adolf Hitler in the comment section down below. Also, if you like our content, please do show us by hitting the thumbs up button. Adolf Hitler died in his Führer bunker on the 30th of April 1945 as a result of a self-inflicted gun wound. His body was then burned in the garden behind the Reich Chancellery. It seems that the dental records strongly uphold the likelihood of this narrative. However, with a lack of body from the most controversial figure of World War II, a lot of people suspected he may have escaped. British authors Simon Dunstan and Jared Williams wrote a book called Grey Wolf: The Escape of Adolf Hitler, in which they perpetuated the conspiracy theory that actually he fled to Argentina. So, what if he did? Well, the scenario in Grey Wolf paints the picture pretty well. Nazi U-boats took prominent figures and literal boatloads of money to Argentina, where they were supported by the future president, Juan Perón, who did indeed express support for fascism in the form of Hitler and Mussolini in the late 1930s. So even if Hitler had made the escape to Argentina, how successful would that have even been for him? He would have had to assume a new identity and live his life in hiding. Wouldn't he have been found eventually? Well, if his underling Adolf Eichmann is anything to go by, then yes he would. Adolf Eichmann was a Nazi SS leader and one of the key players in the Holocaust and instigators of the final solution. He escaped to the so-called disgraced murderer mecca of Argentina and was eventually found by the Israeli Secret Service. He was executed in Israel, which many saw as justice served. Hitler was obviously far more recognizable and sought after than Eichmann, so it's likely that had the Allies or the Zionists had ever any suspicion of Hitler dwelling in Argentina, they would have extensively searched for him and found him. Had he been found, it would have been political chaos for the South American country, who would be complicit in harboring one of the world's most wanted fugitives. People high up must have known. We know that Argentina went to war with the Falklands in the 1980s, but had the nation been complicit in hiding Hitler, then they would have had to deal with a rain of political fire from other countries. Perhaps it would have sparked an Argentinian-Israeli war. Either way, had Hitler been found, he almost undoubtedly would have been tried and killed. This offers problems in itself though. Hitler was hated by many people. The Allied forces, especially Britain and France, would have wanted justice, but so too would the Jewish people. Depending on when he was found, he could have been tried and killed in Israel, the settling place for many displaced European Jews, or he could have been sent back home and tried in the fatherland of Germany. I personally think had Winston Churchill been alive when he was found, he would have wanted to crucify the man himself. Either way, it would have been huge world news. So what if Hitler escaped to Argentina and survived though? Well, he would definitely be dead today. He was born in 1889, so assuming he lived a then average lifespan, he likely would have died in and around the 1960s or 70s. If that was the case, he would have lived to see the aftermath for Germany. It wasn't so great. The mess, the sadness, the rebuild, and the division into East and West, the Berlin Wall. He would have seen Russian strength grow, which would have frustrated Hitler no end. He also would have lived to see the formation of Israel and the revival of Jewish prominence. He would have lived to have seen his name and legacy spurned. He would have lived to have known that he failed. But, again, the likelihood is that he didn't. All evidence points to the death of the Führer in the Führer bunker. We will never know how the world could have been different had he survived. Would it have been for better or for worse? Well, let me know what you think, guys. I'm looking forward to to reading the comments in the comments section down below. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Life's Biggest Questions. Again, do let us know your thoughts on the topic, and also if you like our content, then why don't you hit that thumbs up button. Before I go, as promised, I'm reading some comments from one of my most recent videos, which was a little bit different. It was, what if werevens were real? This is what you guys had to say. Lynch King said, get fire resistant suit and take a good look at the sky before you go out on a plane. Synex Annihilation said, I would have one as a pet. I'd ride it to avoid traffic. Sino Draws went one further and said, to be honest, I would try taming a baby, so once it grew up, it would obey me. I would normally use the werevan to travel and flaunt it to my friends. Wait, no, that's messed up. I'd use it for traveling and train it to protect anyone I say to protect. I would take it out to sea for a weekly meal. That's my plan if they ever did become real, which will never happen in my lifetime. You know what? Honestly, never say never. A lot of you were all about using the dragon emoji in that video, which I can fully support. So guys, I think we are just about the end of the video here. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts about Hitler and Argentina, or any further thoughts about two-legged dragons. I always like them. Also, while you're down there, why don't you like this video and share it with a friend. For now, I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you soon, but until then, stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.